cherish all the time you spend, you tuned in to. It's time again to cherish all the time you spend, you tuned in to. It's the number one podcast. The topics of discussion when we broadcast. So all them artificial man jokes, we do it natural from the concrete to a public standpoint. Real, wherever you're from, life is coexistence, but to know the real, you just gotta listen. Wherever you're from, life is coexistence, but to know the real.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the 52 Scott Podcast. I'm your host, K Money, and in the building with me, my co-host Slash, Freddie G, and Comedian 96. Collectively, we are the Mind of Men. You can find us on X, formerly known as Twitter, at 52 Scott Podcast, Instagram and Facebook, the 52 Scott Podcast, and if you're on YouTube, don't forget to like and or subscribe. Welcome, fellas, to another True Tuesday. Today, man, interesting topic. Thought we'd talk about an issue that's going on. I'm sure not here just in Texas, but I'm sure nationwide, and that's squatting. And this is defined as the action of occupying an abandoned or unoccupied area of land or a building, usually residential, that the squatter does not own, rent, or otherwise have lawful permission to use. I know you guys have seen these type of stories on the news every now and again, and I always thought I'd never really understood the laws on how people can just, you know, pretty much take over an abandoned house and live in it like it's theirs, not paying anything at all. Yeah, and this is happening more often than, you know, you probably even hear about it on the news. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. It happens all the time. You know, people are even squatting land. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? From you know, just a piece of land somewhere, and the way you squat a piece of land is if it's just open land with nothing built on it, you cut the yard. Like, you have to maintain the look of it. You know what I mean?
So once they start doing that, then they pretty much taking care of it as if it's their own.
It turns into yours after so long. So that's kind of almost the same thing. But squatting is different because, you know, there are laws against it and laws that covered it sometimes.
Well, like you say, there are laws against it. And recently the governor basically said that there are no short-term squatters' rights in Texas.
Not Texas.
Anyone squatting on another's property is breaking the law, such as criminal trespass, criminal mischief, theft, or other charges. And the state of Texas encourages local officials to aggressively prosecute. Now, you hear that, and it sounds like, you know, they pretty much can stop it from occurring, but again,
they can't. Here's the thing.
They have rights.
You said something key. See, you gotta read between the lines. He said there are no short terms
squatters.
Now let me elaborate. Y'all mentioned that there are different laws, right? Mm-hmm. So out of 50 states, the laws differ. Right. Some states have 20-year squatters' rights. Some have 15 to 20. Some have 10 years. Texas fall in the 10-year range. So 10 years is not short term.
Right.
So when he say there are no short term, that can be interpreted a year, two, maybe a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. But if you got people that's been there kind of like for some years, then things are a little different now. Because in the state of Texas, Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Indiana, Iowa, Mississippi, and so forth, it's 10 years.
Right.
Now, New York, I know New York had one because I've seen their squatters. There's a lot of stories that if you go into like an empty apartment, something crazy. But they have their rights are like they really stick up for people that if they was in an apartment. I want to say it was like 72 hours or something. It's theirs. You got to go through the eviction process, even though New York has I remember it was something crazy because someone had moved from New York and they were telling me about the squatters that were there and they have rights even though they ain't paying no rent, but they still got to go through eviction process.
Freddie G, I want to touch back on the Texas no short term law that we have, and if you could give me an analogy, because I'm still trying to understand. So you say if someone's occupying a property for less than 10 years, then they could.
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm just reading between the lines. Here's what I do know. I do know that there are different laws, and it varies per state. And I also know that most states, they have laws regarding squatters' rights, and it depends on how long the squatter has been occupying the property. Now, meaning that depending on how long they've been occupying the property, then they have certain rights. What I am saying is Texas is one of the states that mention 10 years. So when you use the term that the governor mentioned and said short term,
right,
10 years, living somewhere for 10 years doesn't tell me that that's short term, if that makes sense.
I mean, 10 years doesn't sound like it's short term. And what I'm trying to understand is he's saying that it's basically, well, he's not saying it's okay. Texas doesn't. I'm just trying to get a grip on if somebody was to occupy somebody's property or land or house or whatever it may be, like Comedian 96 just mentioned, 72 hours. Say we go on a vacation, I come back and there's people in my house.
What I'm supposed to do?
I can't. I mean, physically, I'm gonna try to physically remove them. You know, me and my gun, but. And then I would be breaking the law.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it's like what time frame is there to where those squatters' rights kick in?
When does it? How long do you have to be there to determine that you have
and that's why I'm getting confused with the
So yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
So I don't know all of the squatters' rights and laws, right? But it seems to me like 10 years is the time.
Yeah, okay. And that is what it says. It pretty much defines 10 years. I see what you're saying now. It just doesn't, I mean, because it's people that you see on the news that are being reported as being squatters, and I know they haven't been occupying this property for 10 years, but they still having an issue getting these people out of the residence. You know, police can be called, but police can't even remove squatters, you know, from residential area.
Because here's the thing. I think it has something to do with, let's just say it's somebody's house or something.
Right.
You don't have the deed to that motherfucker. You live in there, but you got bills there in your name.
Right.
Now, that when it becomes a twist, because now you're establishing residency at this place. That's when you turn into a squatter.
Hold on, back up, Freddie. I'm sorry. Back up, slash. You say the people that are squatting has bills coming to the home now?
So some other way than you just living there, you've established residency.
Got you. Okay.
And
that's one way to establish.
He's not lying. It just made me refresh a story I just thought about. It was a Thai man. I was just watching this. It was a Thai man. He was coming home every day from work, and he kept hearing noise at the top of his closet. He just kept hearing noise. He'd go in the closet, look around, no, he just didn't know what it was. This went on for months. Finally, something happened, because what happened is the lady that was actually living at the top of the closet, she made enough space just for her to lay and then just have a little food and snacks. So what she would do is she would climb out. When he go to sleep, she would climb out. But she got caught. And she called the police, and they didn't kick her out. He's right. You're right. They did not kick her out.
Because
she did. Yeah.
So that was a movie you saw?
No, that was actually it's actually happened. It's a Thai man.
So let me touch on something you said, K-Money. You mentioned if you go on a trip for a couple weeks,
right,
or a week or whatever, you come back, somebody in your house,
right.
So there is kind of like a fine line. So maybe I can clear some stuff up. What you're speaking of is trespassing versus actual squatting. Squatting would be like, here's an unoccupied real estate. And you got unoccupied real estate that somebody has taken ownership in, and then chiming in to what Slash mentioned about getting bills coming there. So when you see these houses or whatever in this unoccupied real estate, it's easier for a squatter to take ownership of those properties, and so that's different versus somebody actually trespassing, because it's clear that I stay here. It's clear that, meaning K Money, clear that you stay there. Somebody lives here versus an unoccupied property, unoccupied real estate. So I think that's what happens when these squatters see these unoccupied real estates, these homes. They'll go and take ownerships of these homes, and a lot of times these homes aren't selling. So when they start getting bills and stuff coming there,
it makes it look.
Then it makes it look like, okay, hey, I own this. This bill's coming. And think about this. And this is me stretching and kind of reaching, but think about when somebody stay with you, right? Let's say your girl, she stay with you, and then she start getting bills coming there in her name to your address, but y'all just girlfriend and boyfriend,
right?
If y'all doing that for a while, then at some point y'all kind of like common law. Wait, she got bills coming here now. She lives here,
right?
So
yeah, it would be hard to prove trespassing in that situation. I'm glad you mentioned that. I was just reading. It says that there are two major differences between squatting and a trespassing. And it says squatting is usually civil in nature, while trespassing is a criminal offense. So you hit the nail on the head, Freddie G.
Now, the only way it becomes okay for the trespasser is if they're there long enough to become a squatter on that property.
Well, here's the thing, though. I can see the logic behind that, but here's the thing: trespassing is trespassing. It doesn't convert over,
right?
Trespassing. And look at it this way. And this is me just, I may be reaching here, but just kind of think about when you see unoccupied real estate, right?
Yeah.
Usually they want somebody to look at the property. It just tells you, hey, this is available. This is real estate, hey, for sale or for rent or whatever, right? It don't tell you no trespassing. There's no sign that says no trespassing. Usually, if it's property that's occupied or something, then it's no trespassing. so it's kind of like because if it's unoccupied real estate, they want you to trespass. They want not trespassing. They want you to go up to. Let me peek through the window. Let me see what's going on. Let me see. So
I can imagine, to those realtors, squatters are more or less like roaches to them, in that field.
Damn, that's crazy. If you think about it, say you do have an unoccupied resident. If you just put the sign up, say no trespassing, you can't squat at all because you're protected. I got a whole sign up here saying no trespassing. So unoccupied places that's all they have to do is just put
most unoccupied places are places that's being sold or for rent. So you, like Freddie G was saying, you want people to come. So there's no trespassing.
You want people to come because if it's unoccupied, it's unoccupied.
I know that is a catch-22.
Golly, it is, huh?
I mean, no. For anybody in real estate, think about it.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Look at it this way. Let's take land. Let's remove the building.
Yeah.
Let's tear it down. Usually, you see land that's a stake that says no trespassing.
No trespassing.
Until they're ready to sell it, right? When they're ready to sell that particular piece of land, then they'll put for sale, may divide acres or may do all of that. But until then, they'll put a sign and say, no trespassing. The reason why they do that because they don't want you to go and maybe park your car there.
Right.
You know how they sell cars on the side of the road?
And like Slash was saying earlier in the show, if they start showing or taking care of that land with nothing on it,
it becomes theirs after so long.
They need a squatter trespassing sign. No squatter trespassing. Something to fix it. Because that's the only way.
To get rid of them, you have to go through that eviction process, which is a 3-day process.
And which might cost you a little money because you got to pay for these court fees.
It does cost.
Yeah, it
does
costs.
cost. You're right.
Yeah. So,
you know what? I'll be wondering why, you see folks on the news that are being evicted or have been evicted. And I'm wondering, well, why don't they just do as squatters
Squat,
do.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Man, I know people in the hood. Man, I got 44 days. I ain't gonna pay this rent. I got 44. They know the exact days. They know
There's
they can squat. How many days they got to squat
But
before
that
they
ain't
have to go.
squatting if you finna pay the rent.
Now there's a recent
It is
story.
squat if you ain't paid it. Think about it. If you say I ain't gonna pay the rent, and from this day I have 44 days before I can get out of it. That's squatting, right?
Yeah,
if you didn't plan on paying the rent, and then you know how many days from that day, then that means you've done it before. You've been squatting for a long period of time. If you know your days, right?
That's right.
I mean, you
No,
finna.
wait.
No, that just
Say that
mean
again, man.
you
Say that
finna
again.
move out.
So you have some people, we from the hood, and they'll be like, man, I ain't gonna pay that rent this month. See, today, what's the day? The 5th? Shit, I gotta be out here. They gonna on the 15th, they're gonna file the paper, and from the paper, that's 30 days. So I got 45 days. People,
So they
know
just breaking the contract. They're just breaking contract.
But
There's no right.
If they ain't paid no rent in 45 days, they are squatting.
That's a breach of contract. You know what they gonna do?
What?
They gonna put that on your credit.
Right.
So no, that ain't.
But if they're repetitively doing it,
they're gonna put it on your credit, and then they probably take you to court to get that money that you owe them.
do they actually go and pay? No.
Yeah, but half of them probably on last chance renting an apartment.
Yep.
Because
And then they gotta pay. Then they gotta pay two first, last month.
Yeah, so
and a deposit.
they're still being penalized for it.
Yep. So it's not even worth it. I'll be like, I don't understand it, but I see people do it. I do.
I saw a story recent, and we may have talked about this story where this lady had been staying in this home, and she got screwed over by a realtor and ended up losing her home, and her furniture and shit was put out. I don't understand in that situation why she just didn't. Well,
The school teacher.
yeah, the school teacher.
saw
You
that.
know why did her shit get put out? And
So
well, the realtor probably
part of the problem with her is that it kept being sold to different people, different companies. So it's harder to track. And so she signed something,
right,
And
not
she
knowing
didn't know what
yeah,
she signed.
not knowing what she
And
signed.
that's why it's important to see that lingo, to understand that lingo that they're putting in those contracts that she's signing. And basically, they just took the house from under her nose. And now it's harder to track down the original person,
Right.
Because he sold it, or they sold it to another one, then another one, and so now it's hard to track down that person. So now it's like, okay, whoever has it now will be like, hey, this belongs to us, or belongs to us. What happened to the person before and all that stuff? I did business with them, and now you go deal with them. But right now, you need to get out my place.
Yeah, and I'm sure they went through the eviction process. I'm thinking that they just kicked the woman out, but I'm sure they did go through the legal ramifications to get her put out of her own home. But that was a sad situation.
Yeah. That was one of them cases, man. If I had some bread, I definitely would help that lady.
I know.
That's crazy,
I just
man.
knew H-Town would have stepped up, and I think they did find the original person that owned it at this time, and it, unfortunately, it was a brother.
Yeah.
That took advantage of this lady, and he had an excuse, as if he didn't know what was going on. But we know,
Yeah.
it's hard to believe that he had good intentions. I think he was just looking for that quick dollar. I'm looking and I'm asking. It's asking, can you shoot?
A squatter.
Yeah.
Can you shoot him?
Can you shoot them?
Well, you can shoot anybody. There are consequences behind it. Yeah, you can shoot anybody.
Go ahead.
It's gonna be some consequences behind it. They're gonna sort that shit out later.
That's what I was saying earlier, though. You trying to protect your property, and you can't legally do it without facing consequences.
I don't know.
These negative consequences.
Well, I get what you're saying. My thought would be that there are steps that has to be taken, and shooting someone would be the last ditch deal. That's not a part of the step.
So
But don't get it confused
And see,
with
that's the thing.
trespassing.
Well, that's the thing, though. As a homeowner, which you are, Freddie G, why should you have to go through these steps? Well, the law is why you have to go through the steps. See,
I'm going to tell you, get out and vote.
It's tricky, man.
I got a question. This is a good example, all right? Say, you got your own house here in the city, but you got a little farmland way out that you probably visit once a year. You don't visit it that much. Little farmland, nobody out there really. You go out there, you get there, and you find a squatter there. Now, there's two ways he can answer. You can say, hey, man, you trespass. You need to get off my property. He'll say, hey, man, okay, that's fine. Give me a week, I'll be gone. Or he answers, I'm not going anywhere. But you got your shotgun. Remember, you way out in the middle of nowhere. Do you shoot him?
You asking me?
Versus those two answers. Those are the two answers he gave you.
I can't see myself giving him a week.
If he's nice about it, he say, hey, man, I got a lot of stuff. Give me a week, I'll be gone. That's that first answer. That's his first answer.
If you do the week,
I'm not going to shoot him.
You may as well go through the process.
I'm not going to shoot him. I'm not going to shoot him. If he says, give me a week, let me pack my stuff, I'll be out. Because I don't know how long he been there.
Okay, and you come back in that week and he not gone. You don't see any progress.
Oh, well, if he ain't gone, he going to get what the other guy had. It's the second answer.
So did you shoot the first guy?
The first guy, no, because he said he was a man about it. He said, man, give me a week, let me pack my stuff, I'll be out of here.
So
right?
This guy
the second guy answered, I'm not going anywhere.
Right,
he getting the bullet. Yeah, he definitely getting the bullet.
And you think because it's way out,
because it's way out, I can dig a hole, I got plenty of time.
So does that make it legal?
No, it doesn't. But he wasn't going anywhere. So in my mind, yes, you are.
So you'll still have to prove why you killed that man
on your property.
Know?
Me and them trees and my farmland.
Well, what you gonna do? You gonna dig the grave and everything?
I got to. I mean,
why dig a grave if it's way out there? You ain't worried about
too deep at this point.
Oh, okay.
I ain't finna kill nobody. I'm finna ask that man to leave, man. Please, bro.
Man, my suggestion to anybody out there that's owning any property to alleviate having to deal with it, just get your no trespassing sign, and I think you can avoid squatters altogether. If you choosing or if you're trying to sell property, then I'm not sure, how you can avoid it. I guess checking on it on a regular basis could be one thing. But until they have a surefire way of controlling this squatter issue that we have in America, just try to be safe out there doing whatever you do. Appreciate y'all joining us. Come back. This concludes another True Tuesday episode, and be sure you tune in tomorrow for another episode of Women Wednesday with Freddie G. Don't forget to follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter, at 52 Sky Podcast, Instagram and Facebook, The 52 Sky Podcast, and if you're on YouTube, don't forget to like and or subscribe. And to all my 52 Sky faithfuls, it may be new to you, but if you heard it here, then you know it's true.